Hello again. When I saw Prince Charles backing a scheme designed to give capitalism a human face and accelerate a move towards more sustainable approaches, tackling climate change and all other kinds of wonders and worthy aspirations, my heart sank. This was a couple of months after the coronavirus had really got going and we were in lockdown in Britain. And the last thing I wanted to see at that time was this muddle-headed man telling me how to revolutionise the world. It all tied in with various United Nations plans, of course, to end poverty, make clean water available for everybody, generally establish heaven on earth in our lifetime. I've seen such plans before, and they've always come to nothing in the end. The idea of trusting the United Nations to do something is also not something I'm likely to do in a hurry. In short, I could see three main strands to all this business. On the one hand were honest but unrealistic people like Prince Charles, who genuinely believed in these marvellous ideas and thought that they would make the world a better place. Such people were a tiny minority, though. There were far more people in the World Economic Forum and various big multinational firms who had been planning all sorts of schemes for years and thought that they could suddenly announce that as capitalists they had had a change of heart. And instead of pillaging the third world and exploiting us all by price-fixing monopolies and so on, they were now pretending to be determined to make the world a better place and ensure that they worked for everybody's benefit from now on, not just to make lots of money. If true, this would indeed be finding Saul among the prophets, as they say, but of course there's no reason at all to think that it was true. It's like all these firms which claim to worry about diversity and global warming and the rest of it. They don't really give a stuff about these things, but feel that if all the other businesses are saying that, then failing to do so might make them look a bit bad. The whole reset business just looked to me like a meaningless bit of PR for big business. Then we come to the United Nations, of course. This is the most awful organisation imaginable and chiefly exists for the benefit of the millions of people working for it. Their interest in sustainable goals is that it will give them influence and power in the world. Jobs for the boys and a seat at the top table being things well worth having. Like all such big organisations, the various departments within the UN will be jockeying to see who can be the most important in the Agenda 2030, which is very similar to the Great Reset, of course. Agenda 2030 promises universal literacy, food for everybody, sustainable energy and all the usual stuff. Anybody who thinks that the United Nations is a monolithic entity which might ultimately be controlled by the reptilian agenda or the New World Order has obviously never had any dealings with the UN. Just like any other such huge business, the individual departments are all fighting for their share and hoping that any new project will mean power, money and influence for them. UNICEF is riding high at the moment because of getting all the children in the world to read and write and make sure they've all got clean water. Mind you, the World Health Organization and the International Fund for Agricultural Development won't be far behind, demanding that they should be the lead agency in anything which happens. Those who picture any sort of unified plan involving the Prince of Wales, UNICEF and various multinational corporations can have no real idea how the world actually works. It will mainly consist of a bunch of greedy, unscrupulous and ambitious people jostling with each other to see who can look the most caring while also trying secretly to stab everybody else in the back or pick their pockets. The few real idealists will soon be elbowed out of any positions of power. I can only say that anybody who truly believes that this is going to be a smoothly run and well-oiled operation, with all the various parties beavering away to a common goal of world domination, knows very little indeed about the way these things work. Some rich people will grow even richer through bribery and graft. Other people will wangle Nobel Peace Prizes, and some will end up in cushy jobs where they will become famous without actually having to do much. With luck, a handful of kids might actually be saved from dying of dysentery. Perhaps 1 or 2 solar power plants might get built. In 10 years, everything will still be rattling along in exactly the same way. I am perhaps of an age to have seen similar grand ideas being proposed, and in the end none of them ever really seem to amount to much. I can't see the Great Reset and Agenda 2030 being any different.